Hey everybody, I am back. My name is Lauren. I'm here to talk a little bit about drug addiction, and I have decided to do this from my car because I'm always driving and I work and I'm on the road all the time, and I'm starting to feel really guilty that I haven't come on and talked a little bit more and created videos because I've been really busy with work, and that's no excuse. I am now going to bring it in the car with me, doing the thing that I do the most, which is driving. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about addicts, current addicts, and how you can tell if somebody is still using drugs. So this is during the time of year where you really want people to start showing up, right? You really want, whether it be your kids or friends or loved ones, boyfriend, girlfriend, to show up, whether to be at Thanksgiving party or Thanksgiving dinner, or Christmas parties or holiday parties or whatever that is going on. You want to make sure that people show up because you love them and you want to celebrate with them. Or you might just be around them a little bit more, and you really want to know if these people are doing what they say they are doing. Now, of course, you can always give someone a drug test. There's ways around drug tests, though, and what are you going to do? Walk around with a drug test in your hand all the time? No. So there are definitely ways that you can tell through people's actions. So, I'd like to say 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 ways, but they all kind of coincide. So I'm going to touch on all 3 of them, and there's more, but these are the 3 that I really, really think are very apparent, that you can really tell. And then and then I'm going to touch on them all separately, and then kind of put them all together because they all kind of combine. I still have people in my life that are still in active addiction. They're not really actively in my life because I can't have them in my life. It's very hard to deal with people that are addicted to drugs when you are not. And it's very, very hard to deal with people that are still using drugs and addicted to them when you are recovered, because you know what they're doing. You can call them out, and you just like, well, what do you think, I'm stupid or something? I mean, I've been through this. I've done this. I was an addict. I mean, I still am an addict, but I was in active addiction for 25 years. I mean, a long time. I think I know what's going on. And I go to AA meetings and NA meetings, and I talk to people and I help with people. I see what's going on. And these people still want to say that they aren't using drugs when I know that they are. Okay, let's talk about this. What are the signs that you can tell when somebody is still using drugs? They play the victim. This is the first one that I want to touch on. They play the victim card all the time. Now, I know there are people out there that like to play the victim, but we're talking about specifically this person that you're wanting to think about. Are they still in active addiction? Are they still using drugs? They say that they're not, and I think that they are. So we're talking about a certain person here. We're not just talking about people in general. So now, when people are in active addiction, they always play the victim. How do people play the victim? What's some examples of this? Okay, let's say they get fired from a job. Why did they get fired from this job? You might ask. Or they just might tell you, well, I got fired from this job because the manager just had it out for me. What do you mean they had it out for you? I don't know, they just didn't like me. Everything I said or did, they just did not like me. What do you mean they just did? I don't know. I would come into work and I might be a little bit late, and they just, they'd start talking to me about how I talk funny or how I react to customers. And I'm like, wait, but you were late to work. Doesn't that mean? No, everybody's always late. He just has it out for me. I'm the one, or she or he it just has it out for me. I'm the one that they have it out for. This is the victim, right? This is what they're playing. They're playing the victim. Or, they could have, on Facebook or something, I can see, this is someone that I know that does this a lot. You can tell when people are fighting with their boyfriends or girlfriends, right? Because people usually are on Facebook and everybody kind of knows what's going on in their life, and it's always the other person's fault. Well, he or she just doesn't care about, thinks that I treat him bad, or, he says that I do this, he says that I do that, but they really do this to me, and they really do that to me, and over and over and over, it's never the person's fault. They cannot say, I was late to work too much, I got fired, or I'm fighting with my boyfriend, girlfriend, because I have no patience and I react. They could never do this. They don't do this. All right. They are constantly playing the victim. Always. I could go on and on with examples. I don't know. Does anyone else have an example that they can put below and help us all out to see, like, what is this victim card? What do you see all the time? Number 2, they don't show up. They're not accountable. And this is huge, right? This is huge, especially this time of year. Thanksgiving, even like Halloween, you might have kids, you might want to, all go out trick-or-treating, you might want to have this person over to share the times with. It's the holidays, it's fun times, and you've been planning, and then they just don't show up. Why don't they show up? Really no good reason. Like, maybe it's because they were too tired, or, I just didn't feel like going, or last minute, I just didn't feel like going. Most of the time, people know in advance that these kind of parties are going on. So you can take off work, you can plan to be out, you can plan to be there, and these people just didn't do that. Whether they didn't, they don't show up. You cannot count on them. I used to be really bad with this. And now I make it a point that I show up. If I say I'm going to do something or I'm going to be somewhere, I will be there. I think there's been one time in the 4 years that I was not able to make it to something when I said I was going to, and I seriously called like 2 minutes before, and it was because I was having a breakdown. Life was just getting too much, too strong, work, everything, and I was overloaded, and I called, and they knew that it was true, and I was really at the place that I'm at. Now, I could not have done this right away. Like, the first 6 months, a year, I needed to show up. You have to show up, because there's so many years prior that you don't show up. But this was like the third or fourth year, and I couldn't be there, I couldn't be there. I was actually already there, I drove an hour and a half to be at a recital, right? And I couldn't go in because I wasn't together enough, And the person that I was supposed to meet totally understood and was really happy that I called. But most of the time, when you are in active addiction, it doesn't go this way. They just don't show up. You could seriously be calling them, and they'll be like, yeah, I'm on my way, and they just never make it. So you just cannot ever trust that these people will be there. So the third way is kind of all of it together, right? And they are just very selfish. We were very selfish people when we were in active addiction, and they are still there. Everything is about them. If you want to see them, you've got to make it about them. Like, oh, I have something for you. I'd like to give you something. And then you know that you're going to see these people, right? You know that you'll be able to see them if you have something to give them. Or if they want you to show up to, or if you want them to show up, then you'll have to say something like, I want to take you out and buy you some groceries, or I want to do something for you. And then they'll be there. If it's about them and they need it, it's not like if it's about you for them, but if it's about them and they really need it, they will be there. But if it's something that's important to you, nope, can't count on them. And really, guys, it's not, I don't want to say it's not their fault, but it's really the drugs. This is something that you will see in addicts over and over and over again. It's not just your addict, it's all addicts. So I just wanted to kind of come to you and bring this to you. And I hope that it helps a little bit, because I know this time of year, it could be very, very hard. And we feel sad that maybe maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm not doing something right. Maybe they don't want to be around me because of, whatever the reason may be. No. You cannot make people do anything, right? The old saying goes, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. This is exactly what it is. You could plan, you could be prepared, or you could, talk to them, you could bring them to a job or whatever. If they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. And basically, when they are on drugs, that's what they want to do. The drugs, when you're in active addiction, the drugs aren't there like they were when you first started. They're not there making you stronger, happier, funnier. They're making you more introverted, more to yourself, more scared, more closed off. So I hope this helps. And I would love it if you guys please went ahead and subscribed to this, because, listen, it really does make me feel better when I see people subscribe. And I appreciate when someone will reach out to me and ask questions or say, hey. It really is a nice thing, and I appreciate that, guys. So I hope everybody is enjoying their October, and happy Halloween. And thank you.